All right, now that the late birdies have made it in, we can get started. So today webinar is going to be on how to use your TruckLogics account using your trip sheets and fuel expenses to generate your IFTA. My name is Summer and I will be your host today. I am fairly new to TruckLogics, so be nice. But I love it here and I love you guys, so let's get started.
And I am her co-host William, and we're going to go over what's going to be talked about in this webinar today.
All right, yeah, Will's pretty great. So today's webinar overview, we're going to go over dispatching and motive options, the trip sheets, fuel expenses, how it shows in IFTA, and of course, if you have any questions, we are happy to answer.
Just remember to keep any questions that you have related to this webinar. Any questions that you may have that are unrelated to this topic can be asked of our support team. At this moment, we're going to switch to our live demonstration. I'm going to pause the screen and we're going to switch over to our test account now.
All right, so this is your account. When you sign into your account, you are automatically sent to your dashboard. From your dashboard, we're going to go over to the IFTA tab. Here on your IFTA dashboard, we're going to go and select the second quarter. This is where you will select the trucks you are filing IFTA for.
Generating your report for it.
All right, and so here is where you can import the distance and fuel data. So you see my trucks entered here. Here at the top, you have the change data import option. So we give you various of options on how to import your information through dispatches, previous dispatches, or motive. You have the bulk upload and the quick entry. But today's purpose, we're going to pull the data from the dispatches or motive. All right, so as you can see, there's no miles or gallons entered. From here, we know that we're pulling from dispatches. So let's go back to our dispatches. We're going to go with the dispatch assigned to the truck I am generating my IFTA for. Here, we're only focusing on two tabs. This will be your trip sheet and your expense tab. Starting at your trip sheet, of course, we have to have a start location. Otherwise, we're just populating from thin air, and I don't have that ability yet. So we're going to start location, and that will pull from the previous dispatch check call. Or you can enter it manually. So that's what we do. We will enter manually. And we're in the beautiful Rock Hill, South Carolina, where it's always sunny. All right, from here, you have two options on how you can enter your information for your trip sheet. You can enter it manually on your trip log. Or you can enter using Pro Miles. So the practical is the most practical route you want to take to generate your IFTA. So that is what you want to select. Also, the date of your trip start date. I'm sorry, I said that wrong, your start date. Okay, so here you will see your information. So if we were to scroll down, you'll see the total loaded miles, your total empty miles, and we can save and continue.
And from here, even when you're entering it using Pro Miles, it is a Pro Miles generated route. So if you have any stops that you need to add, you can add them in the routing tab just to generate a more accurate mileage. You can also enter in the states right here. Pro Miles will enter it for you. But if there's any, like if you took a detour or if there's anything that, any states that you traveled through, you can put that information in here manually, even after you've generated using ProMiles. And if you need to add more rows, you can click the Add 5 Rows button there and input whatever you need. But we'll go ahead and click Save. It will prompt you to mark it as delivered, but if you're someone who likes to just keep track of their miles as the trip goes along, you can skip that option right here. Now we're going to go to expenses and summary. Take it away.
All right. Yeah. So from here, your expenses tab, you can add the fuel expenses. Also, be sure to enter the correct dates that's corresponding with your trip sheet. That is very important. Here you would enter your truck fuel quantity. So we purchased 100 gallons for $300. Scrolling down, you'll see your payment details. So I'm going to say driver B and how I paid them. And also from at the bottom, forgive me, I had a brain fart. The fuel stop details. We offer the country USA, Canada, and Mexico. Also, you have your states to the right. And you just select what state you're in. So we're in South Carolina.
The state you purchased fuel in.
Well, yes. All right, so now that we got the fuel and the trip sheet filled out, we're gonna go back to your IFTA tab. We're gonna go back to the second quarter and voila, look at those numbers. We're gonna select the trucks that I am generating IFTA for. Okay, so you see the total miles and the total gallons. So that's what we want. We wanna see that. You can click that plus sign and you'll see your jurisdiction of the states.
This just shows you the breakdown of everything. So you can kind of see the overview of where each truck has traveled. As you can see with this one, we just did one dispatch. Obviously, you're gonna have more for IFTA, but this will just show you the total of every jurisdiction, the miles within it, and the gallons of fuel purchased within it. We only did the dispatch for this one truck, but if there's any trucks that you have, we didn't generate anything for this other truck, so that's just why everything is showing as 0. On top of that, with the motive option, you can come over here to your integrations and connect to motive. You can import your trucks that way, and it'll just automatically pull the fuel and mileage information from your motive account that you've entered in there. That's only dispatches or motive is only for anybody on a TMS, truck management software version of TruckLogics. We do offer an IFTA only. With the IFTA only, because you don't have the dispatches tab at the top, you will, if you choose to import from motive, you will have to have both your miles and fuel in motive. And with that, we're going to continue on to the summary page. And this will just show you generally pretty much just the total for everything, all of your trucks together. When you click on this plus button, it'll show you the individual trucks that have information associated with them, and just the totals of distance, fuel, and the miles per gallon.
All right, Will with the details. He's gonna give them to you. So this is your IFTA report option. This is where you can choose the type of report if you fit these categories. Will has also done a previous webinar, so feel free to go to our YouTube channel and check out all those great videos.
We explain more about each option in that webinar video, so just for now, we're going to continue on through, but feel free to go over to our YouTube channel and check out that video.
Yeah. So here is the fun part. This is where it will show your IFTA tax due. So it shows if you are owed taxes or if you owe. Hold on, wait, I may have said that wrong, sorry. If this will show if you owe taxes or if you're owed credits. There it is. Yeah.
So yeah, like Samir said, if you owe taxes, you're just gonna have a standard number like this, the 615 that we have right here. Any credits will show up in parentheses. They'll just have a parentheses around the number, and on top of that, any credits that you may have from previous filings, you can enter them in here to assist with any taxes that you may owe. And we're just going to continue on next.
All right. Yeah, so this is another summary of your second quarter. You'll see all your good stuff, your business, your IFTA details, and then if we scroll at the bottom, you'll see your quarterly tax summary. That's a breakdown of the tax due or if credits are owed to you.
Yep. And just a general summary, pretty much just before you generate the report. This will just show you everything. If you are doing anything late or if you have any penalties added to your account, you can enter them in on the previous page, but that'll be talked about in our next webinar.
All right. Yeah, so this is what you want to see. No errors were found, but in case there were, you would see it here, and it's going to stop you until you fix it, just like the IRS. They will stop you unless you file your IFTA. Okay, yeah, so here is pretty much our history of our generated IFTA forms. We keep tabs of that all the time. But this is where you would download your IFTA form, clicking that orange button there, and voila, it's right there at the bottom, at the very bottom. V8, IFTA return V8, even keep them in order for you. So now you can review your return, and if you need to modify it, you can still do so right there.
All right, and that pretty much just goes over how to import the information from dispatches or motive. This time we're going to switch over back to our presentation for our Q&A session.
All right, yeah, so if you have any questions, this is the time. You can raise your hand or in your chat box.
We've got the little screenshot here, so if you have any questions, do type them in and we will answer them. So we'll just give everybody a little minute to just review any notes you might have taken, or if you have any questions, please type them and we will answer them.
Now don't be shy, Will is the expert.
While we're waiting on questions, I'll just go ahead and review some of the information that we've discussed today. So we talked about how with the dispatches or motive option, when you get started, you have to select the trucks that you're going to be reporting your mileage and fuel for. If you have multiple trucks, or like if you didn't, if one of your trucks didn't run, but you still have a few other trucks that did, you can select whichever trucks that you want. You don't have to select all of them, just whatever you're reporting for. And you'll see if you already have information in here, you'll see it pulled from the dispatches. If you're just getting started, you'll be met with this page first, but if you have your trip sheets and fuel expenses already entered, you can click continue to go ahead and get that information pulled. Within here, if you notice that any numbers are off or something seems different, double check your fuel expenses. You can check them specifically within the dispatches by going to the all dispatches, or you can also choose whichever category it falls under. So we'll just go to summer web and we'll say maybe we're supposed to have 15 loaded miles instead in North Carolina. We can edit that here. We'll update it. So 27 loaded miles, 25 empty miles. Or say instead of buying 100 gallons of fuel, we actually purchased 150 gallons of fuel. You'll notice that as we do that, the numbers haven't really changed, but we have to refresh the system because maybe you've added another truck or added a dispatch for another truck with miles. And you'll see that those numbers change once you come back to the import distance and fuel data page. All right. I'm still not seeing any questions, so I'm just going to keep going. Again, this summary is just a summary of your trucks and their totals. So if you have any other trucks, that'll just show here. It's not going to show the specific jurisdictions that was on the previous page. And again, if your truck falls under any of these categories, or if your business falls under any of these categories, I should say, no operation, like if you didn't drive anything anywhere, you didn't operate that quarter, IFTA still needs to know that you did not go anywhere or operate. So that would just be a no operation return. If it was an amendment, you can select that, or if this is going to be your final report and you're shutting everything down, and you need to cancel your IFTA license, make sure you select this. Otherwise, they're still going to expect you to report anything that was not driven. They still want to see zeros and see all the numbers. And you'll notice that the tax amount has changed since we updated our numbers. Summary again. If there's any errors, it mainly just checks for any inconsistencies or anything that would be like grossly off on a regular report. At the moment, because our numbers, we just played with smaller numbers today, there wasn't really anything found. But if you are doing something, typically with dispatches, it's not good. As long as you've got everything entered properly, you won't see many errors. And if you're using like the quick entry or the bulk upload, you might get errors in terms of like how you might have entered the information. Like on the bulk upload, there will be, if you didn't put the information in the right columns properly, you might get a little message here. But that'll be for the next webinar where we'll go over that, things you might see, things you might encounter. Right. We download this. We've generated another version, version 9, and this will just take us back to the dashboard with our updated numbers.
Easy, like 1, 2, 3, Will.
Yep. I'm not seeing any more questions, so I guess everybody is either asleep or we did a really good job.
They're masters already.
So we're going to switch back over to our presentation just to explain what's going to be coming up.
James will be your host. Next webinar on July 27th.
4 p.m., same time, same place. James is going to be going over correcting the IFTA returns. You heard us talk about modifying the return. We're going to go more in depth on that, modifying, fixing any errors that you might see, late fees, and amendments, how to notate that on your report. So go ahead and register now. By the time this has been posted to our YouTube channel, the link should be on our website, and you might have gotten an email or two about the upcoming webinar.
But don't forget to file your IFTA if you have not filed it for the second quarter already. You have until the 31st.
The end of July. Yep.
Yeah.
So just remember that whenever you are keeping track of your IFTA, each quarter is 3 months long, and then your IFTA is due on the following month after the quarter. So April through June is due July, last day in July. We've got our, we're coming to an end with our IFTA webinars. The next webinar is going to be the last webinar in our IFTA series. Like I said, it's going to be about correcting any mistakes, errors, just so you can get that before getting any added penalties to your account. So if you can't make it, still register. We'll send you the information. You'll get a link emailed to you, and these webinars are always recorded. If you are joining us and you didn't register or forgot to register, you can also see these on our YouTube channel. We make different playlists for each month, just to make it easier for everybody. And we just enjoy having the information accessible to everybody. Yeah. If you haven't started your 15-day free trial, what are you doing? Get over to TruckLogics right now and click sign up. Today. Anybody who is not on a free trial, or anybody who is on a free trial and you haven't subscribed yet, Summer, isn't there a code that they can use to get 10% off their first month?
Yeah. Use Summer10 with a capital S, and you'll receive 10% off of your filing. Well, I'm sorry, not your filing, but your subscription. So, if you haven't, you want to do it now. I mean, early bird gets the worm, but second mouse gets the cheese, right? Maybe. Who knows?
I don't know what birds are flying around. So again, that is Summer10 with a capital S, Summer followed by the numbers 10. And that's only for the TMS. If you're a small fleet, owner, operator, medium fleet, large fleet, just go ahead and get signed up. Take a discount. And last, thank you for joining us today. Get in touch with us if you have any questions related to this webinar, not related to this webinar, any questions that come up later after we end the webinar. You can reach us at 704-234-6946. You can also reach us via email at support@trucklogics.com. We also have a live chat on our website. There's a little message bubble that you can click in the bottom left or bottom right corner, depending on which page you are. And you can also follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We are on it all. And as always, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.